I load into Ascent Rivals, and right away this feels like more than just another racing game. It is a project that brings a futuristic, high-speed, ship-based racing experience, and it happens to be connected to the Cardano ecosystem. But what really stands out is that right now anyone can try it. I do not need a wallet. I do not need digital items. I simply open Steam Request Access, download it, and I am in. That alone sets a tone. It tells me this game is not trying to lock players behind the paywall. It is letting the gameplay speak first.
As I move through the menus, I feel like I am stepping into a world that is still evolving, and part of that is exciting because I am not just watching a final product, I am witnessing something being built. Ascent Rivals sits inside a space where racing demands both reflexes and decision-making. I am piloting a ship that feels alive, every movement matters, and the sense of speed shapes the experience. It is a game about racing, but also about learning how to control a machine that is not like a traditional car. It hovers, it ascends it, fights, and it pushes me to balance everything at once. The fact that it is connected to Cardano gives it a layer of curiosity. I am aware it is blockchain-based, but inside this early stage, I am simply here to play, and what matters to me is the feeling of being inside a world where skill is what drives progression. I am not worrying about tokens, I am not thinking about ownership, I am just racing. The relationship between gameplay and blockchain is something that will unfold later. Right now, why does this matter? Because Cardano gaming needs experiences that people can actually touch, and this is one of the first that gives access without requiring commitment. It lets me sit, grab my keyboard, feel the acceleration, and watch as ship parts glow, courses open, and races begin. Ascent Rivals matters because it offers a doorway, a starting point, a place where gameplay is real, not theoretical. I get to see the world. I get to test. I get to feel the physics under my fingertips, and I can watch this game grow almost in real time. When I start, I am not only entering a race, I am stepping into the early shapes of a future ecosystem, one that could eventually show how racing and digital ownership merge. But today, it begins right here. Ship screen speed and my hands ready to play. When I look at what Ascent Rivals is trying to become, I see a game that wants to redefine what racing feels like. It is not just about reaching the finish line. It is about how I get there. Every turn, every acceleration, every decision I make shapes the race. The purpose behind this game feels like it is built around skill, the type of skill that grows through repetition, through trial and error, through learning the limits of my ship, and then pushing past them. The goal here is to take racing and elevate it with mechanics that demand focus. The ship does not just sit on a track, it reacts, it drifts, it ascends, and I have to pilot it, not just drive it. That is where the game wants to lead me toward mastery, toward that feeling of being in control of a machine that is alive and responding to my touch. This vision becomes clear. The more time I spend trying to perfect a lap shaving, seconds off feeling the gravity of every mistake, and chasing the satisfaction of a clean, flawless run. But here is something I have to acknowledge. There is no white paper, no long-term roadmap publicly shared, no final blueprint that tells me exactly where this game is going. The long-term vision is not outlined in detail, and that is a reality I face while playing. I do not know yet how big this world will become, whether tournaments, championships, or competitive leagues will form. I do not know how blockchain mechanics will eventually merge into progression. I am simply sensing the direction through what the game offers today. From what I can observe, it feels like Ascent Rivals wants to build a space where competitive mastery matters, where the players who learn, adapt, and commit will stand out. I imagine a future where every improvement, every performance becomes part of the identity of the game. But again, that is a feeling, not something officially stated. The only confirmed layer is that right now I race, I learn, and I improve. So for now, the vision I can clearly feel is this. Ascent Rivals wants to bring players into a new type of racing where ship's physics and control form a skill-based experience. And even though the long-term direction remains undefined, the race in front of me right here, right now, shows me what the foundation is. It is about letting the gameplay speak, letting the mastery grow, and letting players discover what this world might become. As I dive deeper into Ascent Rivals, the features that define this game start to show themselves, and they become clearer. The moment I begin a match, I am not just driving, I am piloting, and that difference matters. The ship beneath me is a machine built on physics, speed, and control, and each element reacts to my input in a way that forces me to stay present. When I hit accelerate, I feel a surge when I tilt the ship shifts, and when I enter an ascension zone, it sends me upward, changing the flow of the race in an instant. That moment alone is one of the most defining features because it is not just a course, it is a vertical arena. And I have to think in more than one direction. Inside the game, I can choose between modes, and one of the most accessible is single-player time trials. I pick a course, I see how many laps I need, and I go for the fastest completion. The tension builds as each lap passes when I make a perfect turn. I feel rewarded when I crash or lose control. I know I just lost seconds, and that eats at me. The game feeds on that emotion, forcing me to refine my skill one lap at a time. Before every start, I also have the opportunity to customize my ship. And this is where another feature stands out. I am not locked into a single configuration. I can adjust parts, engines, stabilizers, weapons colors, and the feel of the machine becomes my choice. That level of customization gives the race a personal touch because the ship begins to feel like an extension of my hands, my timing, my identity. Over time, updates have also reshaped how the experience plays. Motion has become smoother, collisions feel more natural, weapons have unique behaviors, bots actually engage and fight, and the interface that I see on screen has evolved to make information clearer. I notice new effects sparks cockpit damage, the smoke of a failing engine, and every little detail makes the world feel more alive. Inside races, there is also a credit system I earn. ARC credits passively, sometimes at the start of a heat, sometimes by crossing a lap checkpoint, and that reward structure gives me a sense of progression, like the race is more than just a timer. It is a journey through risk and reward. Even visually, the world expands as new maps arrive, some in beta, some in alpha, all giving different terrain and scale, and while they are still in development, each one hints at a world that is bigger than what I see today. When I look at all of this, I know these features define the core they are, what make Ascent Rivals feel different, and while everything is still evolving, these are the parts that make each race worth running again and again and again. Now I want to address something that always comes up when people hear that Ascent Rivals is connected to Cardano. They expect to immediately see tokens, NFTs, staking wallets, or blockchain screens popping up while I play, but when I am inside the game, that is not what is happening. Right now, as the game exists in this early stage, I am simply racing. And the technical connection to Cardano is not visible to me inside the gameplay. There is no feature where I mint a ship, there is no marketplace where I trade parts, there is no wallet login, and there is no smart contract interaction that I can see. Nothing inside the game directly tells me how Cardano fits into the system, and that is important for me to state clearly because the transparency of this moment matters. I can only speak about what I can actually observe. What I do know is that Ascent Rivals is identified as a project that belongs to the Cardano ecosystem, but the details of that integration are not publicly explained right now. There is no document, no technical breakdown, and no clear feature list that tells me whether ships, items, skins, weapons, or progression will eventually be stored, tokenized, or validated on-chain. I do not know yet if this will involve smart contracts, metadata, decentralized identity, or staking systems. None of that has been disclosed. So as I sit here playing racing, drifting, learning the curves of each map, the connection to Cardano exists more as context, not as an active mechanic. That might feel unusual in the blockchain gaming world, especially in a space where many projects force players to buy NFTs just to enter. But here there is no requirement. I open Steam, I download, I play, and everything I experience is pure gameplay blockchain. Free, at least on the surface. Because I have no roadmap or white paper. I cannot tell you when, where, or how Cardano will appear in a real functional way. I can only acknowledge that the technology is part of the identity of the project, not something that I interact with today. If there is a future where digital ownership, competitive history, or ship customization is linked on-chain, I will eventually see it, but at this moment, my experience is grounded fully in the race, in the controls, in the physics, and in the act of playing. So when I talk about Cardano and Ascent Rivals, I speak with honesty. The blockchain connection exists in name, but the implementation is not visible yet, and my only focus right now is what I can actually touch, feel, and control inside this world. As I spend more time inside Ascent Rivals, I start to understand the unique kind of value this game might bring, and it is not just about competition or skill, it is about access, and what that access means for the future of gaming. Most blockchain-related games ask for something before I ever get to play.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. And before I go, don't forget, if you'd like to receive a very short but value-packed email from me every Tuesday, you can sign up for the Cardano Gaming newsletter. Every Monday, I'll be sharing the latest from the Cardano Gaming ecosystem to help you make better decisions. So if you don't want to miss out, just go to the link on the screen, leave me your email, and very soon I'll be in your inbox. That's all for today. I hope you have a great week.